Let's bring in Nate Lerner, who's the executive director of Build the Wave. It's an organization that has a team of grassroots digital and volunteer organizers who work with a variety of political campaigns and organizations. Wow, that's a lot. Nate, great to have you with us. Can you just start off by explaining to us how your organization and perhaps political campaigns in general use Twitter to advance their candidate or their cause?
Well, what's interesting about this is we primarily use Twitter organically. We post on Twitter, we engage with influencers and other activists and volunteers and organizations, but we rarely run Twitter ads because we don't see a good return on investment with Twitter ads like we do with Facebook ads. That's why you see the presidential campaigns investing so much into Facebook ads, is because you get a much higher return as far as donations and email signups and engagement. Twitter advertising really just doesn't have it worked out. There's some circumstances where it might be beneficial, but rarely it is the case. However, this announcement still is going to have pretty far-reaching consequences for the industry.
And I'm curious, if there is indeed pressure on Facebook to follow suit on this, how damaging is that for political campaigns and organizations?
Well, this is really interesting, not so much because of the effect it's going to have in the Twitter space, because as I mentioned, very few political campaigns and organizations actually invest in Twitter ads, except maybe at the highest level and in unique circumstances. But Facebook, however, is the go-to now for advertising. It's really starting to replace television. It's becoming one of those prominent means of connecting with voters and volunteers and donors. And you're seeing Donald Trump, for example, his campaign is spending $1 million a week, sometimes $1 million a day on Facebook ads alone, which is crazy. And you're seeing the presidential campaigns starting to approach that amount as well. No doubt we'll see that increase as the general election goes up. So if Facebook were to take a similar measure, that would really just completely disrupt the political industry and erase this entire means of connecting with voters and donors, and erase this entire form of free speech that we have. And also it'd be a massive revenue loss for Facebook as well. When you think about how much they're bringing in from political ads right now, it's pretty high.
I'm wondering, Nate, how this exactly differs from paid political ads that we see on TV networks. So you see these political ads air on cable channels, and even in some instances, we have seen some organizations say we're not going to run this ad or that ad, and we've seen that actually play out in the realm of public transportation in terms of what advertisements we see when we take the metro or we go to the subway station. Where's the line for businesses on saying we're going to run this and not this? And just, I guess, to add to that too, do you think that Facebook will actually follow suit with this?
So that's what's interesting too, is that what's really crazy is that if you try to put a TV ad up, if you try to put a radio ad, a billboard, transportation ads, those get vetted, those get audited, and the people behind those look at what the content is and make a decision about if it's something that they want out there in the public space, and they take responsibility as their medium to do so. And you would think that Facebook and Twitter, being these very advanced tech companies, could do the same thing as a television station or a billboard company does literally every single day, and yet they can't. Facebook is failing to do so. Twitter is just given up. They don't want to invest the money or the resources in it. So it's kind of absurd that they don't. And yes, as a private company, they have a right to do so. They are allowed to decide what content they put out there. But you have to understand, too, that Facebook and Twitter are unique in that they're not just a private company. They are nowadays how people get their news, how they communicate. They're really almost a public utility in that way, the same way you would with a TV station. And so they need to be treated as such, and we need to regulate them. We need to force them to step up and not suppress free speech, but also make sure they're doing their jobs as well, and they're vetting the content.
Well, these are interesting times indeed. Nate Lerner, appreciate you coming back. Thanks for that.